Is it just me, or was I like one of the only ones who just got a kick out of Joseph Gordon-Levitt saying something about his wire? I loved his accent in this movie. Just, I need to find a place to set up my wire. Okay, I can't do a French accent, but good job, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Good work. It's convincing as hell. Anyway, hey there guys, what's up? It's Auto About Mike 18 here, back with another movie review. Guys, in this video, I'm going to be reviewing a movie that's been out for a while, and my apologies that this movie has been out for as long as it has been. I just haven't gotten a chance to see it till this past week, and it took me a few extra days to finally sit down and find time to review it. But anyway guys, the movie I'm going to be reviewing in this video is The Walk. Now guys, The Walk is director Robert Zemeckis' newest film. You guys all know Robert Zemeckis. It's right above me. You see it? Look at it, stare at it. It was just Back to the Future Day, so... oh yeah. I actually saw this movie the day before Back to the Future Day. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, guys, The Walk is director Robert Zemeckis' newest film, obviously known for Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Flight. He's even done, like, I love The Polar Express. Okay? I know everybody bashes it. I don't care. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. So I really like Robert Zemeckis as a director, and I know The Walk came out a couple weeks ago. I just kept putting it off, and I finally got a chance to see it this week, and now I'm finally reviewing it, so I'm sorry for the late review and the, lateness of seeing it. But, The Walk, guys, getting into basically the premise of the movie, and yeah, I was looking forward to this movie going into it. The trailers didn't sway me or anything. I think this year was an okay year for movie trailers. Like, I feel like the last few movies I reviewed, I was saying, oh yeah, the trailers were okay. Nothing blew me away. But The Walk, going into the movie, I knew very little about the movie. I knew that there was a documentary on the subject of the movie. I knew essentially the main story of this subject matter. The film is based on a true account of a Frenchman. His name is Philippe Petit, and he is, of course, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He is a sort of tightrope performer, and the movie really tracks his interest in walking on a tightrope, how he found the idea of a tightrope at a very young age. He saw performers in a circus, and it really the first half really just shows him getting into the idea of walking on a high wire. And he eventually discovers, because this is set somewhere in the 1970s, I believe 1974, but don't quote me on that, and he eventually discovers the building of the Twin Towers, or that these two large towers, the two tallest towers in the world at that point, are being built in New York City, and he realizes, holy crap, I want to put my wire between these two towers and walk across my wire that high up. This is his dream, this is his ambition, and he wants to make this happen. So for the next, year or so, he sort of gets a plan together. He gets what he calls accomplices, am I saying that wrong? To help him sort of construct the wire and help him, sort of form a coup so he can break into the Twin Towers, set up his wire, and do the stunt and achieve the dream that he's always wanted. So guys, that is essentially the premise behind The Walk. And just a little bit of a backstory. Yes, this is a true story. Some guy was actually crazy enough, as pointed out by several of the cops in this movie, to literally stage a wire from both of the Twin Towers, walk across it more than once, and do that for all the people in New York City, all the passerby. But not really just for them, really just to accomplish this dream, because this is his passion. He loves walking on a tightrope wire, okay? This is what he loves doing. This is what drives him, and I get that. I connected with that immediately. You got a passion? Go for it, alright? Inspiring word time, guys. If any of you are passionate about something, do it! Just do it! Alright, like Shia LaBeouf. But anyway, yes, and they actually made a documentary on this whole subject matter called Man on Wire back in 2004, I think it was, and the documentary got a lot of love. It was very well received, and it won Best Documentary, Best Doc at the Oscars. So I think a lot of people were excited to see this sort of turn into like a narrative story with Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Philippe Petit, and I gotta say, guys, I don't think I was like completely hooked in the movie. Like the first act, I'm like, okay, we're seeing his backstory, we're seeing him grow up, we're seeing how he got into sort of performing and everything. But they're kind of like breezing through it because they really just want to get us to New York City and get us to his performance essentially. I was like, okay, I can't wait for that. But I kid you not, once we sort of got out of that and we sort of got into the moment where he arrives at the city for the first time and realizes, like, holy crap, like, what the hell was I thinking? Or, no, I'm still going to do this. Like, this is my dream. I want to do this. I got into this movie. I could not take my eyes off of the screen. This is an experience that you guys absolutely need to go to the theaters. I'm pretty sure most of you have already seen it if you love going in the movies. But if you were considering this movie and you weren't sure whether or not you should see it, I definitely, in the theater I mean, I definitely would say to see it if it's still in your theaters, for that matter, because of just how harrowing of an experience this movie is. I'm telling you, this movie is exhilarating, it's exciting, it's palpitating, like, it literally got my blood going, and I was like, holy crap, they're gonna get caught, or oh no, he might trip, or he may like fall, like he may do that cliche thing where he like slips and has to grab hold of the wire before he falls off it or something. And I'm not gonna say whether or not that does happen in the movie. I don't want to spoil anything or anything. Yeah, I really don't want to give any details away about that, but like the entire movie, and it's really because of how solidly directed this movie was, how gorgeous the cinematography was, and how the camera shots were placed at just the right angles. There was a moment where we needed sort of like not a POV, or just like a extremely high angle, like looking down, like he's walking on the rope and you see his feet in frame and you see just all the building and all the people, all the cars below, all that feeling just adds to that like feeling of, oh my god, like that hectic feeling of like that dizzying sort of feeling, like, oh man, I'm so high up, I feel like I'm with this character, I feel like I'm gonna throw up, holy crap. Like to sort of achieve that, or to garner that feeling within the audience, those are the types of shots you needed, and I think they really told the story very well. And they're not really POV shots, because I know he doesn't really look down while he's performing the stunt. He's looking up, because I know for sure as hell if I were to ever do something like that, which I never would, I'm not looking down, because I would probably just be like, slip and fall. Okay, so yeah, that is essentially the walk, in my opinion, guys. It is incredibly acted. It is just very fierce and really just pulsating, it just has that really tense feeling. And I know a lot of people could easily go into this movie and say, nothing about this movie is suspenseful. I know how this movie is going to end. I know that he actually does get to perform this stunt. He does go on the wire. He does walk on it more than once. Why should I care about his predicament? Why do I feel he's going to be in danger? I don't. But I really didn't know all that much about this, other than, yeah, he does get to walk the wire. But what really was suspenseful for me, apart from the wire walking scene, was everything that led up before that. I love the second act of this movie incredibly well, because it's really like sort of like an espionage, like I'm going to spy on these employees of the World Trade Center, and sort of, he calls it his spy work in the movie, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. And, my spy work. I love how he says that. I love his accent in this movie. I'll get into that. But I love just that whole second act of this movie where he has to break into the World Trade Center. He gets his accomplices together. They have to get fake IDs. They have to get through security. They got to do all this. They got to hide from security. They got to properly place their wire. They run into several speed bumps and predicaments all throughout the way. And I was like, these are all keeping this guy from accomplishing his dream. This is going to, like, crush him. Like, how is this going to affect him? We know he's eventually going to get on that wire, but this is, like, I want to see him be persistent and not give up. And his character is perfectly. This guy is one hell of a fighter. He does not want to give up. He does not want to let this dream slip through the cracks. He wants to just push forward. He is 100% determined to see this out. And I love that about the script, and it makes the movie all that more exciting because so much is on the stake. It's really just this guy's passion to just do this one thing that is really dangerous and could get himself killed easily if he makes one mistake. But it's all the more exciting to see him go through all of these struggles to just sort of get the freaking wire attached to both of the towers. And I love that entire sequence in this movie. It kept me on the edge of my seat. There is one shot where he has to like sit on this steel beam and hide from security. And that's all I'm going to say. But it's just like there's mostly like just darkness. And I don't want to spoil it, but it made me jump. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. There's one moment in the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. If it doesn't make you jump, I'd be very, very surprised. And that's due to very good editing and very good camera work, or very good cinematography in that case. Now, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, okay, I have always been a fan of this guy. I think he's a great actor. I think he's been in some great movies over the past few years. Dark Knight Rises, Don John, just to name a few. I really like the guy. Premium Rush. I think he's a great actor. I think he is fantastic in this movie. This might be one of his best career performances, in my opinion. Not only did I not really see Joseph Gordon-Levitt as I was watching this movie, yeah, he changes his hair color, he's got contacts on, his eye color's different, but his accent, his posture, his sort of... I could tell he worked out and buffed out a little bit for this role. I think he's a lot more in shape. I mean, not saying Joseph Gordon-Levitt was always like out of shape or something, but I think he really got fit for this role. And all the scenes, all the moments where he's walking on a tightrope, he's actually doing that. Like, he's not walking on like some green screen floor and just going to create the rope in post. He actually practiced, I think, with tightrope performers. Sorry about that phone in the background. And he is walking on this tightrope. So... I mean, no, they didn't actually attach a tightrope to the new World Trade Center in New York City and throw Joseph Gordon-Levitt on and say, walk on this rope, we're going to film you. Okay, no. They recreated the World Trade Center in post-production. Obviously, the visual effects are insanely good. But they had Joseph Gordon-Levitt walking on like a tightrope in like a soundstage or something. So all of that stuff is essentially real, and I got to hand it to him for actually going through with that, because I can't imagine that's easy. You got to work with balance, and it has to really work out to make it look convincing, and he absolutely makes it look convincing. His French accent is perfect. His character, his determination, I felt it. I felt for that character. I thought Joseph Gordon-Levitt was absolutely fantastic in this movie. Absolutely killed it for me. I thought the script was really good. I had a few minor problems here or there that I'll discuss later. But Robert Zemeckis did a phenomenal job directing this movie. I know that this movie is not going to get a lot of love Oscar-wise for like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, or obviously not, even though I think Gordon-Levitt is fantastic. The script is solid. I think the score by Alan Silvestri is perfect. Really good score. A lot of good scores recently. And Alan Silvestri is a great composer. But I think Robert Zemeckis, this is one of the, I think this is one of the best directed movies we have seen all year long, in my opinion, because of how Zemeckis really made me feel like Gordon-Levitt is actually walking on this tightrope attached to the Twin Towers. Okay, I really felt that as I was watching this movie. It felt real. It felt authentic to me, and it's because of his camera work, his shots that really make me feel dizzy. His performances from his actors are all incredible. His shot language, all of that works brilliantly well in this movie for me, and it's one of the best directed movies of the year. Yeah, it looks visually stunning, and it should get nominated for visual effects awards at the Oscars. But if it doesn't, Zemeckis absolutely deserves love. It is one of his best directed movies, for sure. I don't know if it's one of his best movies, period. It's not up there with like Back to the Future or anything like that. But I think this is another worthwhile entry into Zemeckis' filmography. I think he did a fantastic job directing this movie. Enough said. Guys, I really enjoyed The Walk. It was an exhilarating, just really all-out death-defying experience that I really just... It was palpitating. Palpably exciting, intense. It sucked me into the movie. I couldn't get out of the movie in the last 2 acts. I never got thrown out in those 2 acts. I was always drawn in. The story was engaging. The actual sequence where he's walking on the wire is some of the most breathtaking one of the most breathtaking sequences you'll see in a movie all year long. I love all of that. In the end, guys, I'm going to give The Walk a solid grade of a 9 out of 10 or an A-. I really enjoyed this movie. In terms of flaws I had with the movie, one of my only problems, again, I think the second 2 acts are 100% a little bit more stronger than the first act of the movie. I was nice to see him in France sort of get interested in this idea, but I really didn't get into the movie until the second 2 acts, where I was like, holy crap, I can't take my eyes off the screen. I also feel some characters were slightly underdeveloped. Like, there are some his accomplices, I think, needed more screen time. They sort of do certain things or make certain decisions that aren't really explained about, or they're just sort of glossed over, and I maybe would have liked to spend a little bit more time with them. And, I thought Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character worked very well, but I wanted to really see more with those other characters. There's a love interest in the movie that I think didn't work all that well for me. Other than that, this is a harrowing experience. It's exciting. It's adrenaline-inducing. Like, it gets the blood going. And I would definitely recommend The Walk. So there you have it, guys. Those are my thoughts on The Walk. If you guys have seen the movie, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching my review. I will see you guys hopefully in my next video. Thanks as always, guys. Bye.